So this is the new 2023 ASUS TUF Gaming A15, and the TUF series of laptops are mainly popular for two reasons. One, their build quality, and two, their performance. And this time around, ASUS has improved on both. In terms of performance, the new TUF A15 gets the upgrade to Zen 4, 7000 series Ryzen CPUs by AMD, and also 4000 series RTX GPUs by NVIDIA. It's available in a bunch of configurations, but the specific model I have here is the top of the line maxed out variant, which comes with the Ryzen 9 7940HS CPU with the RTX 4060 graphics card. Now, there is a Ryzen 7 as well as a 4050 configuration available. We'll be talking about those as well later on in this video, but I've been using this laptop for the past 2 weeks, and in this video I want to share my experience with you guys. Of course, I'll be giving you guys gaming benchmarks and video editing performance results, but I also want to talk about the little things like how good is the display, how's the battery life, how's the keyboard and trackpad experience, and hopefully by the end of this video you'll be able to decide if you should get this laptop or no. But with that being said, my name is Yusuf, you guys are watching Tech Droids, and this is my full review of the ASUS TUF Gaming A15 2023. Now, starting off with what's inside the box, you get the TUF A15 laptop itself with a 240 watt AC adapter, and it's a huge one, but you're going to need that since this has a discrete RTX 4060 GPU, and you also get your power cord. There's a bunch of documentation, but that's pretty much it for the unboxing experience. Now, as always, I want to start off this review by talking about the design and build quality of this laptop, and the TUF A15 2023 is available in two color options. There is the Jaeger Grey Edition that I have here, and there is also a Mecha Grey Edition that's available. The Jaeger Grey Edition has this laser edged writing that says TUF Gaming and also explains about the military grade standard. And this is a gaming laptop, so the designers weren't really shy here. It has gaming accents all over it. It's got sharp angular edges, and also the sports car exhaust is present here. So yeah, in terms of the design, it looks really good. It is a gaming laptop, so again, you have to accept it as it is. And in terms of the build quality, we all know how good the build quality is on the TUF Gaming laptops. This is also mil standard 810H certified, so it's tested for extreme weather conditions like heat, cold and humidity. It's also tested for endurance, so shock resistance, shakes as well as drops. Not saying you should be dropping your gaming laptop, but the build quality on the TUF A15 is top notch. Starting with the top lid, there is little to no flex on the display panel. The hinge feels really solid. It's able to hold itself in all angles. You can open this laptop with one hand since it is a gaming laptop, so it's bottom heavy. And inside, the keyboard deck as well as the trackpad area feels really solid. There is no flexing here either. And overall, I feel this is built really well. It's actually built like a tank, and it is 4.5% smaller compared to last year's model. So you're getting more performance in a smaller chassis. And this, in terms of the weight, is 2.2 kilograms, and in terms of the thickness is 24.9 millimeters. It's not the most portable laptop, but when it comes to gaming laptops, I think it is up there in terms of being portable. You can carry it around in your backpack and it can take a beating. It's a durable, well-built laptop in my opinion, and this new design looks really good. So that's the design build quality on the TUF A15. Now, talking about a quick little overview of this laptop, starting off with the back, you have the sports car exhaust, as I said, and these are two exhaust vents for hot air to come out. And when you come to the left side, there is another exhaust vent and a lonely USB 3.2 Gen 1 Type A port for your keyboard or mouse. And when you come to the left side of this laptop, you have another exhaust vent, so that is total of 4 exhaust vents. You have your power in port, your RJ45 Ethernet jack, your HDMI 2.1 FRL port. There is 2 USB Type-C ports here. One of them is a 3.2 Gen 2 Type-C port with display output as well as 100 watt power delivery. This laptop does support quick charging, and there is a Type-C with USB 4, and this USB 4 port is for the future. It's got display output support as well as really fast data transfer speeds. So again, you are kind of sorted for the future as well. And there is another USB 3.2 Type A Gen 1 port and a headset jack. Now this is a combo jack, so it can accept both headphones and microphones. Now, talking about the back of this laptop, you've got some more ventilation and rubber grips so your laptop doesn't slide around on your desk. It's also got 2 speaker units which are bottom firing, and these do support Dolby Atmos, and we'll be talking about the speakers later on in this video. But you also have above the keyboard the LED indication light, which makes it really easy to see all the important details about your laptop, like your hard drive LED, the charging status indicator, as well as the flight mode indicator. And usually it's on the side of a laptop, which is kind of hard to see, so I really like this design change. And that's the overview of this laptop. Now, although the durability on the TUF Gaming A15 is great, something that is worth mentioning is that the gray color that I have here picks up a lot of fingerprints and smudges very easily. Like the moment you start using this laptop, you are going to notice the fingerprints and smudges, and the situation intensifies on the inside of this laptop. So if you have greasy, oily fingers, or if you just like to eat Doritos while you're gaming, have a microfiber cloth handy just to clean it up. So overall, in terms of the design, the build quality, and the port selection, I think the ASUS TUF A15 has got it all. I don't really have any complaints. I would have liked to see a SD card slot, but other than that, everything else is present. Now let's talk about the specifications and performance, which in my opinion is the most important part of any gaming laptop. Starting off with the CPU, the model I have here comes with the new Ryzen 9 7940HS CPU. It's a Zen 4 CPU built on the 4nm fabrication process, 8 cores, 16 threads, and a base clock of 4 GHz and a boost of 5.2. You've got 16 GB of DDR5 RAM clocked at 4800 MHz. You also have a terabyte of PCI Gen 4 NVMe SSD storage and a 90 Wh battery. Now talking about upgradability, both the RAM as well as the SSD is upgradable. So you have an extra SSD slot, so you can pop in another terabyte of NVMe storage, and you can upgrade the RAM on this laptop to up to 32 GB. And in terms of graphics, we have the RTX 4060 8GB model from NVIDIA here. It is a 140 watt TGP GPU, but in most gaming scenarios, it's going to be taking 115 watts, but there is a dynamic boost available that is going to take extra 25 watts. And this dynamic boost technology really helps to get extra performance when needed. Now, in terms of tech specs, as I said, the RTX 4060 here comes with 80 GB of GDDR6 VRAM, and in terms of the clock speeds, you get a 2370 MHz boost clock, but there is a 50 MHz overclock here, so it takes the total boost clock to 2420 MHz, which is really good. You'll be able to get some extra performance, and it's also got 3072 shader unit. It's got 24 ray tracing cores and 96 tensor cores, so you get all the latest features like DLSS 3, AI frame generation, NVIDIA broadcast, RTX voice. All the features that you'd get on a desktop class RTX GPU are again present here as well. Now let's talk about performance. The Ryzen 9 7940HS CPU combined with the RTX 4060 GPU and 16 GB of DDR5 RAM makes the ASUS TUF Gaming A15 2023 a beast of a gaming laptop. And it's not only a gaming laptop, it can do a lot more than that. If you are a serious software developer or a game developer, if you're an architecture student who wants to do 3D modeling and render those models out, this laptop can actually do that. I was able to edit videos in Premiere Pro, color grade some footage in DaVinci Resolve, edit photos in Photoshop as well as Adobe Lightroom, and even use Adobe After Effects without a problem. You can also use softwares like Maya or Autodesk CAD. You can try Blender on this for 3D animation purpose. All the high-end tasks which you might have in your day-to-day work life are actually possible on this laptop, and it flies through basic tasks like web browsing and email and video watching. It doesn't have any problems with that. I was able to play games really comfortably on this laptop and even edit videos. Talking about benchmarks and video editing performance, I want to start off with the Adobe Premiere Pro export test that I did. So I had a 6-minute 4K clip in S-Log 3 from a Sony ZV-E10 camera, and this laptop was able to render that clip in 4 minutes 41 seconds, which is faster than real time. And for comparison, I did that same test on my M1 Mac Mini, which I'm using for all the video production on this channel, and that export took 21 minutes on my Mac Mini. So you can just get a feel for the performance on this laptop. It's really fast. And talking about gaming performance, I was able to play most of the games at 1080p maxed out settings. It can also pull off some 1440p gaming if you wanted to, since it has a 165Hz 1440p display, which we'll talk about in a bit. But this laptop crushes 1080p gaming, live streaming, and all the high-end tasks. You can edit videos comfortably, you can do 3D modeling, and all the tasks that I mentioned earlier. And talking about gaming performance, here are the benchmarks. Alright, so starting off with Valorant at 1080p max settings, I got an average FPS of about 330 and the max FPS was about 400. And in my opinion, the Valorant gameplay experience was really smooth, and if you have a high refresh rate monitor like a 240Hz or a 300Hz monitor, you can actually connect it to this laptop and get its full potential. And even if you're a serious esports gamer, this laptop will get the job done for you. Now moving on to GTA 5, which is a slightly older title, but everyone loves this game even in 2023. At 1080p max settings, I was able to get an average FPS of about 120, which is really good. The gameplay was really smooth and fun to play. And you can even play GTA 5 at 1440p max settings and still get a really good playable experience. Now moving on to a more demanding title like Cyberpunk 2077, at 1080p Ultra with DLSS off, I was getting an average of about 80 FPS. The game looked great, the fidelity and detail was amazing, and the playing experience was also really smooth. Now again, I was curious and I wanted to test out the ray tracing performance of the RTX 4060 inside this laptop, so I ran Cyberpunk 2077 at ray tracing preset medium at 1080p with DLSS on because it automatically turns on DLSS, and got an average FPS of about 85. With ray tracing, Cyberpunk 2077 looks really good. Again, the gameplay was really smooth, and I would suggest you guys use DLSS wherever possible since it's just giving you free FPS. Now moving on to a more demanding title like RDR2 at 1080p with the Vulkan preset at Ultra, I was able to get an average FPS of about 70. Now RDR2 is a demanding title, so the gameplay was really smooth here, above 60 FPS, and it looked really good. The game looks so amazing, and I would suggest you guys use the Ultra preset on this laptop for the best fidelity. Now moving on to a newer AAA title like God of War, at 1080p Ultra settings I was able to get 75 to 80 FPS. There is DLSS option here as well, so if you wanted to get more FPS you could turn that on. But even without DLSS, even just normal rasterization, I think the laptop is performing really good. Now the last game that I tested was Assassin's Creed Valhalla. At 1080p Ultra High preset, I got 100 FPS in the in-game benchmark, and I also tested Assassin's Creed Valhalla at 1440p Ultra High preset and got 82 FPS. Now as I've mentioned before, the TUF Gaming A15 2023 is more than just a gaming laptop. It can do a lot more than that. For instance, if you're into live streaming and wanted to stream to Twitch or YouTube, you can do that with this laptop at 1080p or 1440p without any issues. And if you're into serious software development, you're a game developer, an architecture student, or if you're into animation and 3D modeling, all of that is possible on this laptop. And if you want a really powerful gaming laptop or work laptop which you can take on the go and it's still reliable on battery life, the TUF Gaming A15 2023 in my opinion is a really good choice. And you can run high-end demanding softwares like After Effects, Autodesk CAD softwares, Maya, Blender, Cinema 4D, all of that without any issues on this laptop. Now talking about the display on this laptop, it comes with a 15.6-inch Quad HD IPS panel with 165Hz refresh rate and 16:9 aspect ratio. It's G-Sync compatible. It also covers 100% of the DCI-P3 color space. So even if you're doing color sensitive work like video editing or photo editing, you'll be able to do that without any issues on this display. And watching videos and playing games is actually a lot of fun on this display. It's fast, it's smooth, it gets plenty bright indoors, and the viewing angles are also pretty decent. And it's not really a glossy panel, it's actually a matte panel, so it doesn't get too many reflections either. And overall, I really enjoyed using this display. Like, it has a 3 millisecond response time, which makes it really fast for competitive esports gaming. And I was able to enjoy a couple of movies, some YouTube videos, and playing games and editing videos is a lot of fun on this display. So overall, it's a big thumbs up in terms of the display from my side. Now talking about some of the little details on this laptop, starting off with the webcam, you've got a 720p webcam here with a bunch of microphones, and these microphones do support AI noise cancellation, so it'll try to cut out background noise. And if you're wondering how the video quality and audio quality is, here's a webcam test for you guys. This is how the webcam on the ASUS TUF A15 looks like. It's got a 720p camera. I would have appreciated if ASUS could have given us a 1080p webcam, but it's not really a work laptop, so in case you have to take a video call or chat with your friends on Discord, it'll get the job done. The microphones on the TUF A15 do have AI noise cancellation, so they'll try to remove background noise and stuff like that. Let me know in the comments down below what do you think about the video as well as the audio quality. But with that being said, let's move on with the review. Now talking about the speakers on this laptop, as I said, there's two speakers which are bottom firing and they do support Dolby Atmos, and the speaker quality is actually pretty good on this laptop. Considering it's a gaming laptop and an affordable one, speakers were actually not that bad. They get plenty loud, there is bass, and they don't really distort at high volumes, and the quality was actually pretty good. I was able to enjoy gaming as well as YouTube videos without any issues here. You could again use headphones when you're actually focusing on your gameplay or doing work. But other than that, the speakers are actually pretty good on this laptop, and here is a speaker test for you guys. Now talking about connectivity, you've got Bluetooth 5.3 as well as Wi-Fi 6, and you have a physical RJ45 Ethernet jack. And in terms of internet speeds, I was able to get really good internet speeds, both wired as well as wireless. Again, while you're gaming, I would suggest you'd use the Ethernet port, since you'll get less latency there. But overall, connectivity is sorted on this laptop as well. Now talking about the keyboard and trackpad experience on the TUF Gaming A15 2023, I just loved using the keyboard and trackpad on this laptop. Starting off with the keyboard itself, it's a full-size layout and the keys are spaced out adequately. And there is a lot of travel here, 1.7 millimeters to be exact. You have a dedicated function row on top, which gives you all the basic functions like cut, copy, paste, increasing and decreasing the brightness on your display. There is also a ASUS Aura button here, which you can use with the FN key to change the RGB effect on the keyboard. There are 4 more functions keys on top, which have your volume down, volume up, microphone mute and unmute, as well as a dedicated button for the Armoury Crate software, which is a huge part of the ASUS TUF Gaming experience. I'll talk about the Armoury Crate software in a bit, but overall, typing, gaming on this keyboard was amazing. It's got the arrow keys, the number pad, so if you're doing a lot of work and a lot of typing, that's going to be useful. And yeah, I just enjoyed playing games on this keyboard. Now moving on to the trackpad, this is what ASUS calls the Titanic trackpad. Now, the fancy name aside, it's a really big trackpad in terms of the size and really smooth as well. Like when you're using it, you can feel how smooth it is. It's very precise and accurate in terms of the tracking and gestures. It has 2 physical clicks as well, and overall, I really liked using the trackpad as well. Now the Ryzen 9 7940HS is actually an APU, so it does have integrated graphics on board, the Radeon 780M, and the A15 2023 actually has the MUX switch feature, so the laptop can switch between the integrated graphics and the discrete graphics depending upon which tasks you're doing. So if you're doing heavy gaming or 3D rendering, it will actually be using the RTX 4060 GPU, but if you're just playing indie games, that are not very demanding, or if you're watching videos or something like that, it's going to use the integrated 780M graphics to save the battery. Now talking about the Armoury Crate software, which is a huge part of the TUF A15 experience, you've got a dedicated button to open it up, and it's a very useful piece of software in my opinion. You can also monitor all the stats for your laptop, like your CPU temperature, GPU temperature, CPU usage, GPU usage, how much RAM you're using, what amount of storage do you have left, and also monitor the clock speeds. You can also set up custom performance profiles using the manual mode, so overclock the GPU, maybe give a custom wattage to your CPU, and you can also choose between the existing performance profiles, which are Windows, Silent, Performance, and Turbo. And I did all my testing on the Turbo mode since it is the most powerful mode, but if you wanted the laptop to save battery or make less noise in terms of the fan, you could use the silent mode as well. Now, as I mentioned before about the GPU switch, you can manually switch between the 2 GPUs here using the different modes. There is Eco, there is Optimized, there is Standard, and Ultimate, which is the most powerful mode, which is going to use the discrete GPU only. You can also customize a single zone backlighting on the keyboard using Armoury Crate, and if you have other ASUS products that support Aura Sync, you can sync up the lighting effects and colors using Armoury Crate as well. Now talking about the thermals and acoustics on the TUF Gaming A15 2023, the thermal design here is actually very interesting. You've got 2 fans with 84 blades each and 5 heat pipes on the model that I have here. And in terms of temperature, starting off with the CPU, the Ryzen 9 7940HS was idling at about 40 degrees Celsius, but it jumps in temperature very quickly once you actually start putting load on it. So if you're doing basic tasks like watching YouTube videos or browsing the web or doing email and stuff like that, it hovers around 60-65 degrees Celsius. But once you actually start putting actual load on the CPU, like gaming or video editing or rendering, it quickly jumps to 75 to 85 degrees Celsius. And most of the times when you're gaming or doing work on this laptop, it's going to be in that 75 to 85 degree range, but it will go to the 95 degree range as well when you are doing high-end tasks like 3D rendering or 3D modeling, or if you're playing a very demanding game like Cyberpunk or RDR2 at the max settings. And I was able to actually achieve that 95 degree temperature. But I can confirm that the laptop isn't really thermal throttling, since the performance was stable even on an extended gaming session. Like even if you're gaming for 2 or 3 hours, the performance doesn't really throttle or go down. So it's not the coolest running laptop, but still gives you very good stable performance. Now talking about the RTX 4060 GPU here, it idles at about 43 degrees Celsius and goes up to 60-65 degrees Celsius under gaming load. And when you're actually really pushing the GPU with 3D rendering or again very demanding games like RDR2 or Cyberpunk at max settings, the GPU can actually achieve 80 degrees Celsius as well. And again, same goes for the GPU. It wasn't really thermal throttling. I was able to get stable, consistent performance even over long periods of time while gaming or doing work, so that's really good. Now talking about the acoustics on this laptop, the two fans aren't very audible at idle conditions or with not so demanding tasks, but once you actually start pushing the laptop with games and high-end softwares, the two fans do kick in, and they kick in really loud. It sounds like a sports car exhaust at one point when the laptop is under max load and the fan is running at its maximum speed. So if you are doing work that requires your concentration and focus, I would suggest using headphones. Again, for gaming as well, it is really loud when it's under load. That's what I'm trying to say, but the thermal performance that you get is kind of worth it, and the sound kind of gets compensated by the thermal performance you get. And I think ASUS has really improved on their thermal performance this year. Now talking about battery life on this laptop, you have a 90 watt-hour lithium-ion cell here, which supports 100 watt quick charging using the Type-C port, and the 240 watt brick is also included in the box. Now, battery life was actually pretty decent. Considering it's a gaming laptop, I was able to get 3 to 4 hours of battery while doing light tasks like video watching or web browsing. Now, if you're really pushing the laptop or doing heavy tasks or gaming on battery, you're only going to get 1 to 2 hours. But if you're actually just doing light tasks and the display is set to 60 Hz, you're using the integrated graphics, and in the Windows power and battery settings there are 3 modes. There is balance, there is best performance, and best power efficiency. So if you're using the laptop at balanced or best power efficiency mode, you'll get really good battery life. So overall, I was able to get 3 to 4 hours on light use while using the integrated graphics. And mind you, the display was set to 60 Hz and the brightness was around 80%. So that's the battery life. It's a gaming laptop, so don't expect too much. You'll have to be connected to the power plug at all times to actually get the full performance here, or to use the turbo mode. So yeah, but on battery, 3 to 4 hours seems fine to me. Alright, so now let's talk about pricing and conclusion. The new TUF Gaming A15 2023 series is available in a bunch of configurations. As I said, the model I have here comes with the Ryzen 9 7940HS CPU with the RTX 4060 graphics card, but it's also available in a Ryzen 7 configuration with RTX 4050 graphics. The model I have here will cost you anywhere from 1,50,000 rupees to 1,60,000 rupees. It's slightly cheaper on ASUS's website and slightly more expensive on Amazon. I'll drop links to both places. You can buy it from wherever comfortable. And the Ryzen 7 model, as I said, is slightly cheaper. So if you drop down to the RTX 4050 graphics, you'll be saving some money. If you drop down to the Ryzen 7 CPU, you'll again save some more money. Now, if I were to talk about my specific model here, this is suitable for gamers, but also for content creators, live streamers, serious software development, game development, 3D modeling, all sorts of high-end tasks. Basically, if you want a laptop that has a lot of raw power and performance and also is portable and can be taken on the go, this is your best option. I think this is the one you should go for. But if you're only going to play games and not really do any high-end tasks, I think the Ryzen 7 plus RTX 4050 model is also going to give you really good performance, and you can also save some money in the process. I'll drop links to all the variants, all the models in the description down below, and do buy from those links to help the channel out. But that's pretty much it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. It was very detailed and very long, and if you're still watching, do drop this video a thumbs up, as well as subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell so you guys don't miss out on future uploads. Let me know in the comments down below if you guys have any questions or queries. I'll be there replying to you guys. But with that being said, my name has been Yusuf. You guys have been awesome. Stay awesome, keep smiling, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace out.